I haven't really figured out what I want this show to be because it's a bodybuilding news network. That's what it's called.
That's the new one, right?
Yeah, it's the new one. Yeah, it's freaking blown up. Like 160,000 views this month.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's like a little background on me. Like I've been making like vlogs and like fitness content for like 4 years now. And then within the last 40 days, it's just blown up. So I guess I got to be a real bodybuilder now and do an NPC show. So
yeah, you got to get your feet dirty now.
yeah. So that's what we're thinking. But so for the fans watching at home, this is Tonio. Oh shoot, do you want to introduce yourself?
I was gonna let you have at it. Yeah, my name is Tonio Burton, 2019 Mr. USA. I also did 2021 Indy Pro Champ as well. And I'm still fairly new to bodybuilding, so I'm still getting my feet wet as well.
Yeah. And so you're, like you said, you're new to bodybuilding. When was your first show? Was it the Motherload?
Yeah, it's NPC Motherload in 2018.
In 2018. And that was your first ever bodybuilding competition?
Yes, first one I've ever been in, first one I've ever seen.
Well, first one you ever seen. So just like, were you one of those like just genetically blessed guys that worked out a lot, built a lot of muscle, and then some Jimmy guy came out and like, hey, you should do a bodybuilding show?
Yeah, it's funny because I was getting ready to go to school, back to college and play football. And the owner of the store I was working at, he told me, you should compete. Nah, I'm doing football. I'm not going to go compete. And when I came back from school, I told him I'll do a show. He puts me in the Motherload. He said it's a new show. And there's this guy named Anthony who was actually favored to win this show because he's won every show that was local. And I asked him, okay, what do I do? What's my prep, diet, everything? And he was just like, whatever you're doing, keep doing. So I'm like, all right, eating In-N-Out, eating McDonald's. Even my friends were like, dude, you're supposed to be competing. What kind of diet is this? I was like, so continue what I'm doing. So did that, getting on stage. I didn't have a coach backstage. I had my friend back there, Bo Worley, before he turned pro.
Okay.
He was back there with me, and he was just stuffing honey down my throat. And, do some more push-ups. That's it. And yeah, I didn't, no water cut, no peak week for me, just get on stage and end up winning the overall that show.
Okay. I know I have that on one of the questions, so we'll get into like what you did for the Indy Pro when we talk about like peak week and how you prep for it. So you did your first show in 2018. Before that, you played football, and that's what kind of got you into the weight room, or were you always kind of like a gym rat?
No, only time I was touching the weight room was because, football coach was demanding we go work out. So that's when it was just based on that. And I mean, it wasn't so much as lifting weights, but, your agility work and stamina, strength and condition. So
yeah. Did they do the dot drills back in the day when you were doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, dot drills and sleds and ladders.
I'm roping like we're a boxer still.
Oh yeah, really?
Oh yeah, we're doing it all. Wow. Yeah, my high school team actually has only 30 kids on it.
Yeah. Ours is pretty small too. The offense and defensive line play both sides. Mm-hmm. The linebackers played like receive. It was silly.
Yeah, exactly.
We probably had 32. Yeah, now that I think about it. Yeah. Well, our class was only like 91, I think. So
right.
Yeah, small class. Cool. So 2018 first show, and then what? Was that a national qualifying show?
It was, and the winners of the show, the overall winners, they picked two winners. Mark Anthony did.
Okay.
And he picked myself and Hope Harper to go to Vancouver and compete. And for this show, I had a different coach going into it. And the same thing with this coach. He was just telling me, continue what you're doing. And he asked me what I eat throughout the day. I tell him, he's like, okay, you're good. So I'm like, all right. I'm eating Chili's every night. But so we go to this show, and he kept saying it's in Vancouver. It's Canada's small show. We'll be fine. We get there. It's I think 16 or 17 people in my class. Show isn't small at all.
Nope.
Yeah, I ended up getting first call outs, and I was center stage, all prejudging. Coming back for finals, we didn't do anything, left everything the same, and I ended up getting moving to third.
Hmm.
First national show, I placed third.
Wow. Okay. Wow. How'd that make you feel, like coming in from your first win and then into a national level show? Can you?
I was bummed out about it
Yeah.
until, you know, people telling me like, dude, it's your second show and it was a national show and placed third. Like, that's big. And I'm like, nah, it wasn't good enough though. And I told myself I'll never see a third place again.
Wow. And you've done pretty good for that since then.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Third place. And then you took, what did you take some time off and then make the splash in 2019?
Yeah, I took a year off and I went to Samson Showdown in March,
Okay.
which is in Las Vegas. And then the overall winner from that show, he paid your way for USA's. And then
Oh.
that's who helped me with USA's. And I got his feedback, I got Sandy's feedback, came in and took the first at USA's.
Man, in the light heavy. That's
Yeah.
wow. When you won, did you know right off the bat that you were going to do 212?
Yes and no. When I won it, it was because my coach now, he was saying, you know, let's jump right into Tampa. So that was a plan, you know, pull a Derek Lunsford, same thing he did.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And my sponsor was saying you should take time to grow because I weighed in exactly 198. And I like the sound of that, not to rush it. I mean, it's at a sprint, you know, marathon. So we took another year off, then we're going to do New York Pro. But COVID and everything happened. So I just stepped out for the whole year and came into Indy.
Wow. Okay. I guess a little off topic, but walk us through what your training program would look like. What does your normal week look like for the 2021 Indy Pro and the 212?
Oh, it's funny. I go to the gym and I don't have a plan on what I'm
No,
missing.
no, no.
It's funny, you know, like I know I'm hitting legs, so I mean I'm just hit whatever goes with legs. So like, but earlier in the week is all my heavy lifts, and then as the week goes on, I hit these body parts again. It's more of my I'm pump chasing, just filling the muscle up with blood and, you know, recovery workouts, just like you would do in football. So I just treat everything the same way. Monday I hit legs. That's when I do my heavy squats. I'll do machines, everything's heavy. When the next time I hit legs was Wednesday, I won't even touch the squat rack, but I'll go to heavy leg press and a lot of, you know, leg extension, leg curls, RDLs, walking lunges. And I'm now hitting legs 3 times a week because my feedback was to bring in better legs. So
Okay. Now, is that, you talked about doing those heavy movements, those compound movements in the front end of the week, and then you kind of taper off with more accessory movements.
yes,
Is kind of like the thought behind that to like give the central nervous system a break, or is that just how you always done it?
it's always how I've always done it. I believe in heavy lifting is just as important as, you know, lifting light with more reps. They each do something different, I feel like, and I mean I think it shows as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to compare myself to you, but when I'm training, I love lifting heavy, but then I also, something about putting that mouthpiece in and just pushing to the point where like you black out at the end, and once you rack it, you just lay there and you can just kind of feel your head move, and then your wife's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're doing great."
Yeah, it's funny. I was like, mine's only gonna ask me if I'm okay. She's like, you got another set. Or you didn't get all your reps in.
No, my wife's like, "Hey, are we done? I'm tired." And I'm like, "It's just 4 more sets. 4 more sets." Oh man. Yeah, I think it's chest today, so I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I don't want to go on a tangent. I got all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So you win your pro card, and then you take that whole year off because of the C word, but we already said COVID. Because the channel's actually monetized now, so it actually matters. Maybe, I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. So you take the year off, you miss New York, but then you roll right into Indy Pro. Was there any like conversation about maybe it's just from like my end of the screen. I always think like, oh, they're looking at the competition, they're scouting out who's going to show up. Where you just like, this is the show I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the best I can. I'm going to win because that's the only thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like any competitive athlete is looking at who they're going against.
Yeah, honestly.
And
Yeah.
for Indy, I think the only person I knew who was doing Indy at the time was Nathan Epler.
Okay.
And me and him both turned pro at the same year, same show. So I already knew what he was coming. You know, he's another genetic freak.
Yep.
And we push each other a lot. Like you'll see some comments on each other's page where we're calling each other out, or we're shoot shots, through a post. And it's just to push each other, But once the word got out and the athletes list came out of who's all doing it, oh, of course, I looked up everybody to see what everyone looked like, see what someone had better than what I had, and what I need to bring. I mean, that's how you prepare for any competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with a bodybuilding show, it's the show to be the best. You can bring your best, but you still want to be better than the next person.
Yeah. Is it realistic say you look at that competitor list, is it realistic for you to be like, okay, so I need to bring 5% more conditioning or 5% more fullness? Like, is that a conversation you actually have, or is that just like something that we journalists say?
No, I know my coach actually just told us that too with, the Olympia coming up. We played for Indy, we played the size game, which is another reason why my condition wasn't as good as it normally is. And for Olympia, we're not so much focused on size because the returning champ, isn't the biggest guy on stage.
Yep.
He was the most conditioned.
Yes.
Completely conditioned, like crazy. So that's the goal now, is to bring in better conditioning. And it's weird to say, but right now, I'm more lean now than when I was for Indy Pro.
Wow. That's crazy to say. And you're what, is it 10 weeks out?
9.
Okay. Math is hard. Okay. 9 weeks. I had an old supervisor, and she'd always say, words have meaning, Sanch. And I'm like, yes. But now I converted that into words are hard. Yeah. And then of course, math is hard as well.
Right.
So I like what you said there, and I'm going to roll with it. For the Olympia, I know we're a little bit ways out, but there's just a few more shows. You talked about how there could be potentially a changing of the guard when we're looking at mass monsters in the 212 versus conditioning in the 212. Now, I do like to think that there's a good equilibrium of mass and class. It's kind of what I always say on the channel, mass and class. Do you think that it's going to be more of a conditioning battle, or do you think it's someone like, I'm not going to say names, but do you think that they're going to give the nod to size, or do you think they're going to give that nod to that grainy Caucasian dry conditioning?
I mean, that's what it was actually, was the, conditioning. It was based off the physique of Sean Clarita. He wasn't the biggest on stage, but no one was matching his conditioning or even the stage presence. And he looked like he was having the most fun as well. I think that plays a big part as well.
Man, we'll talk. I'll write that down. We will talk about that in a second.
So, I mean, yeah, I think Olympia this year, same thing. I'm worried about size, but I'm not worried about size as much as I'm conditioning, because it's already hard for me to get down to 212. So I know I won't be outsized completely, but conditioning is big.
Do you think that there's any I always want to preface, like, I'm never trying to be a dick. Like, I'm a fan. Like, I love you and I love bodybuilding. So like, when I ask questions that are like, I've watched a lot of Generation Iron, and like, I just hate it. So like, I always want to preface myself as like, I'm not that guy. But do you think that there's any parts of your body specifically that you really want to improve, or that you potentially need to improve?
Oh yeah, I like, even after getting my feedback back, all they kept saying was my teardrop. Bring a better teardrop. And I took that in. Of course, that's why I'm doing 3 leg days now. But hamstrings has always been an issue with me, because when I was doing football, working with Green Bay, I actually pulled my hamstring, tore it. And in college, I did my other hamstring. So they're all types of weird. And getting into hang on those side poses just doesn't, cut it for me. So, I
Mhm.
mean, that's a huge thing for me. Triceps, that's something else I want to bring out. So I've
Okay.
been hitting those just as hard as well.
Hmm. I guess I didn't notice the hamstrings, but uh, I actually wrote down here. One of my questions is, what do you do to develop the teardrops in your quads? Because I like them. So like I literally like was going to ask you like when you're coming into your training, what do you do to make them so great? But it sounds like you're doing 3 days a week trying to improve them. So
Oh,
like
yeah.
what's your battle strategy going into this Olympia prep, trying to make improvements on that body part, but then also cutting, because it's very hard for people to cut and still build.
Right. So right now we're actually still kind of in a growing phase. I haven't necessarily started cutting.
Okay.
And when I do hit legs, I think it's just a habit I've created now is that after my leg day, I'm on a leg extension machine and I'm just, going hard.
Yep.
An
Every
extra
time.
100, 200 reps, why not?
Yeah.
And walking on the stairs as well, I feel like that helps play a part. Get on the elliptical helps play a part. Front lunges, I noticed, have definitely been helping a lot more. Or not front lunges, sorry, front squats.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, so that's
I've been
definitely been helping a lot more as well.
I've been trying to do these the split squats, but like my
Hmm.
body's just so broken right now. I need physical therapy on a few things. Um, I've just been really I've noticed when I do them, when I do I'm the worst. When I do them, I'm gonna have to. I'll cut it out.
The
I
words are
won't cut it
hard.
out. Words are hard. When I actually do front squats, or at least split squats, my legs are destroyed afterwards. But like I can
Mhm.
never. I think it's a hip imbalance for me. But like I can never do them. But like, is that something you do with like the split squats, or is it, or are you just like really into the front squats?
Yeah, I like the barbell a lot.
I mean, you're a football player. Like we loved
Yeah.
front squats, power cleans, hex bars. Like that was our
Hmm.
stuff. I mean, that's what I did. Yeah, shoot.
Right. So I mean, I think that's another reason why I'm just like always to the platform,
Yep.
or flat bench and incline. You don't see a lot of bodybuilders using, flat bench or inclines or
Mhm.
even a squat rack. They use the Smith machine a lot,
Yeah.
which I never understood it. Maybe it's more of a controlled and safe movement, I guess. But I mean,
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to compare myself to even NPC level competitors, but I've switched like because I have a torn labrum in this shoulder. You'll notice
mhm,
I sit like this. I have that, and then my hip is all jacked up. I use a lot of Smith work and machine work because I actually feel it better, and it's less shoulder for me.
got you.
But I will say, and I'm still trying to figure it out because science is hard. Kinesiology is hard. When I'm doing that barbell press, like when the chest squeezes, I'm like stupid sore the next day, and I can
Hmm.
never get the same level of, do I want to say contraction? But I never get that same fatigue that next day. And I've
Right.
always wondered like what it is about the barbell bench press that really torques me there.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, because they say what is it, stabilize your muscles.
Uh-huh.
Is having to engage as well. So having to have that controlled movement going all the way up and down rather than the machine keeping it in place for you. You're working
Mhm.
harder. I believe it was Rodney Coleman who talked about the squats. There's something about, free squats where it just does something different for the muscle.
Mhm.
If you watch the older school bodybuilders, I feel like the old school bodybuilders were the greats.
Yeah.
I seen them use free weight, heavy squats, heavy, bench, heavy everything. So why not mimic that?
Mm. Well, I think that's definitely a conversation. It worked for them. Why wouldn't it work for us? But then
Right.
you look at someone like the Gift Phil Heath, who was like a very big advocate of the hammer strength equipment.
Hmm.
And then that's kind of where I'm starting to lean to, where if a gym has it, I'm going to use it. Otherwise, I'm going to go about half the weight, and I'm going to just be like, okay, how do these dumbbells work again? It's been a minute.
Right.
I'm telling you, I get a little lazy sometimes, and
I
uh,
mean, so like we have the hammer strength at our gym as well. And when, I'm doing like incline dumbbell press, it's kind of hard to, keep flipping up the weight by yourself and having to start from the bottom press by yourself, because I don't have a spotter, most of the time I lift. But when I have those machines, I can have that weight there and I'm already, don't have to flip it up and worry about my shoulders or anything. So, I mean, there is benefit to it. And every time I do go on the machines, my rep range changes. So if I'm doing incline barbell work, my rep range is 12 to 14 reps. If I go on the machine, I'm hitting 20 reps, 25 reps.
Oh, okay. I might have to look at, because like I've noticed, I feel like we're just going back and forth on training philosophy, which is silly, but I feel like I do things that work for me, and then obviously you've done things that work for you. So if the viewer can take something out of this, I'm very happy. If you can think about how you're training and how you can adjust it to be less like me and more like the pro versus the Joe.
We can learn anything from anybody.
Well, yeah. I guess I have some pretty cool lighting in here, so that's something. I always sit here when I get to do the wide shot. I always get to show my little accent light. And that's like my favorite thing ever. So, but so let's shift gears. So bodybuilding, training philosophy. What about like you beyond the stage? Like, who is Tonio when he's not in his man bikini on stage?
Man bikini, I like it.
That's what people say at work.
In the gym, I walk around just how I live now, smile on my face, friendly to everybody. Everybody wants to talk. Everybody wants to work out. I love it, especially when you're motivating people, for them to keep coming to the gym because you're at the same gym. There's that when I have my kids on the weekends. It's probably the best, time of the week, is because I don't see them during the week really. Okay. Unless I'm picking them up from school, or if they want to come over during the week and they don't have anything going on with their other families. But hearing them, say how they want to be like me, or I'm their hero, not what you see on TV. It's me. Same thing with my nephews. We have a big, huge family. So my kids, I refer to as the ones that are mine, and my nieces and nephews as well. So, which is probably over 20, but oh yeah, huge family. But they all same thing. Anytime I come around, they're jumping on my arms, squeeze my arms, asking me to flex, seeing if I could pick up things and move things, and it goes on. So I mean, I love it. It makes them want to get into sports like I was into sports. They want to start working out. Too young, but they want to start doing it. Sometimes they'll come to the gym with me, and I'll make them push a sled, do some lunges. So so I feel like they're getting the same work in that I do.
I mean, the sled's fun. I could imagine that. Yeah.
I mean, I hate it now because I like throwing up after, but I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, and then I think the biggest mistake I made was getting my boys cell phones.
Ooh, how old are they?
And one of them would text me, and he'll be like, "Hey, can I get $20 for my game?" Oh. And so I sent him $20. And then the younger brother texted me like, "Hey, you just sent my brother $20. Can I get $20?" So they set me up. So, I deal with that.
Yeah, they're sitting in the same room.
Oh yeah. I was like, I love it. They, they're the reason why I keep going. I have my hard days where I don't want to move. I don't want to get up. And I think about them, the life that I had, I don't want them to live. Things that I've experienced and seen, I don't want them to have to go through. And it's a blessing that I went through everything I went through, and things I've done and everything. I'm still here, and I look at it as a way to be their curiosity. So if they're ever wondering and thinking, I can tell them, I've been through this already, and this is why you don't want to do this. I've seen these type of people already. Don't be around these people. And for the most part, I've been working. It's just like, well, I'm thankful for my older brother. He's been through everything now, so I don't have to go through it. He could just tell me.
Yeah. That's the best about older siblings.
Right.
Okay. I like what you touched on there with that passing on that generational knowledge, and maybe not to the extent of like building that generational wealth for your kids. But I know me and my wife were talking about that yesterday, and that's like a big reason why I'm like double downing on making all this content, is like what I would like to do once I retire from the Army. I do full-time Army. When I retire from this, I would love to just go around and interview people at the shows, and just like have like my own little thing.
Right.
Unless I get hired on by like Flex or something, I don't know. But I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no.
Make sure you tag them in this video.
Oh yeah, timestamp it too. Yeah.
Right.
Y'all hiring? Yeah, I like what you were talking about there with the generational knowledge, and then especially with like letting people learn from your experiences and your mistakes. We could tie that into fitness. We could tie that into business. So if the viewers can just think about how they can use information, anything in this video, to just make corrections or to make themselves better, that's at the end of the day, that's a big win for us.
Right.
What was I gonna say next? It was, we're leading into the Olympia. I drew a blank. That sucks. One edit in the whole video. Not bad. Not
right.
bad. Did you get to watch the Tampa Pro at all?
I did. We were actually at the gym while it was going on, but I was still checking. I seen your channel actually, so I was watching your channel, trying to keep up with it as much as I could.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, because you did the first call out, you did the second, third call out.
Yeah. I mean, it's surprising. I don't understand. People just wait till the end of the day to make a video. Like Nick Strength and Power, no disrespect, he'll just do like the one video at the end and then just kind of like talk about a few things. It's like, guys, there's news going on all day. Like people need to know about this stuff.
Right.
If you feel comfortable reposting footage, which is something I still battle with, I do it, but like I'd rather not. That's a whole nother thing. But like even just doing the photos, I know Mark's Max Muscle, he does breakdowns with the photos. Like there's news to be made. You just got to invest the time. I'm putting a leave request in tomorrow for the 13th and the 14th because I'm going to be covering the Texas Pro. I'm going to be covering the Europa Pro. It's going to be a lot, man. It's open 212 classic. I'd like to do, I think her name's Jessica. She's always commenting saying like, hey, do bikini. So I need to do bikini. I don't know anything about bikini, but like, well, this is this person, they're number 22.
Yeah. I mean, that'll be big too. Cause I mean, bikini, yeah, it is a big part of the sport as well.
Yeah. It's massive.
So,
but like,
yeah, why not, talk about them?
I guess like, do I just be like, yeah, she's got some great chesticles and the glutes are spot on. Yep.
I think a bikini and it's like the glute hamstring tines,
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to be like, oh, really wide clavicle. I mean, narrow clavicles, really aesthetic for her class. Proportionally, I'm really digging the X taper and just like go through all like just the generic stuff.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's really going to come down to the conditioning. I think the judges are seeing exactly what they need to see to make the right call today.
Yeah, bikini's tricky, like I don't know if they look for a conditioning or if they're supposed to be soft,
Because that's the thing, like,
yeah.
Because if you're too conditioned, they're gonna be like, hey, it's really not what we're looking for. But then if they're not conditioned enough, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it's like, isn't that where wellness is supposed to come in? Like, I don't.
Right. Yeah, it's hit or miss.
Yeah, I hate to sound ignorant, but like, it's just, I'm one person with a full-time job. I can only invest so many hours of my day into learning about every single athlete. And that's what I like to do on the channel, is like get to know the people beyond the stage.
Yeah, definitely.
Bridging the gap between the athletes and the fans. I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Is there anything else you want to talk about or anything you wanted to plug?
Well, I mean, thank you for, putting me on the show. But no, I think we touched everything. I'm excited about Olympia. Excited about the names that are, the new guys that are showing up. Like the kid from, I believe he's from Brazil, Lucas.
Oh, yeah, I'm not even gonna try getting that name right, but yeah.
He's it's funny because it's the young guns is what they call us that are coming to Olympia. We're not just going because of excitement, and hungry. It's like we all want that top spot, and if we compare hunger to anything, I think we're a bunch of hyenas going for it. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
And that's something that is very unique. I'm getting shivers just thinking about it, because I'm hoping that I'm there. Me and Ty got signed on with the Flavor Gang, the sauces.
Nice. Yeah.
So they have a booth. So he would have a job to do if we're there. And then me, I'm just gonna walk around with a microphone, just chase you and Kareth Baggio, Jason Lowe. I'm just be chasing you guys down, guys.
Carrots look great too,
bro. He looks so good. He looks so good.
Seeing his pictures, I'm like, oh shit! Like, yeah, he's gonna come with it.
The photos were next world. Like the live stream, I was like, this guy's got. Well, I was like, this guy in Chicago. I was like, I don't really know this guy, but he's my dark horse pick. When I was going through when I was going through the lineup 1 week out, I was like, I think this guy's my dark horse pick. Like, he looks really good.
Yeah, he was. Because when I seen that, Chicago, I was seeing him. I was like, wait, I'm gonna go look at his, his profile, because Bodybuilders Without Borders posted his pictures. Okay. So I went to his page, and I'm just finding myself getting lost in the scroll. Like, man, this dude, like, he's good. Like, he got it.
Yeah.
And then I find out he turned pro in Masters, and he's competing in, these open shows, and he's doing damage. It's like, if that doesn't tell you a genetic freak, I don't know what will. So that's another, big name that's, someone that people sleep on as well. And he had to wake up a few people. So
expect the competitors won, and then my fellow journalists. It's going to be like a real wake up call to people when they're starting to make their predictions, and they forget somebody that it could potentially land in that top 5, top 6,
right,
or even win. I always play the safe game. I'm like, hey, first call out, that's a win, right? Like, but you guys,
that's what my coach told me.
yeah.
Getting ready for Indy, it was one of those. It was like, hey, you got some big names coming, John Jewett, Noel, the returning, champ.
Yeah.
And so he was, placing first call outs is perfect. That's what we want. But in my head, I'm like, nah, we're gonna win.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like at your echelons of competing, like, you have to think like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's good to, so there's a thin line between confident and arrogant. I would never, bash anyone or, talk down on anyone. Just, oh yeah, I got this. This is all mine. Walk around my chest, puffed up. But I'm very confident in what I do, who I am, and how I look. And I don't ever expect to do, anything less than first. If that was the case, why do it? I'll take another off season until I'm know for sure I'm coming in first.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's confidence.
It's a great way of looking at it. I think that's something people can take away from that. I like to just think about what's the best way I can show up at a show. You can combine that with, if you're confident enough in what you're bringing, always look at something like you're going to win. Always attack something like you're going to win. Right.
I was like, yeah, exactly. You don't go do anything when you're nervous. Like, nervous as in, like, so if I'm, I don't know, applying for a job even, I'm nervous about it going into the interview, but once I'm there and asking about my abilities, I'm confident in what I do, especially what I know I can do. You relax more when you're on stage. You're confident with how you look. You feel like you bought the best package. It's going to show in your stage presence. You'll be on stage, do more smiling than you would looking like you're ready to fight the judge. So
yeah.
So, or looking sad even, because I've seen that where people knew they just, were soft and wasn't there. You could just see it in their facial expression.
Yeah.
And if you can see it, the judges are seeing it as well. So
let's finish with that, because I noticed with the Tampa Pro, Phil Kalahar was all over that stage. He looked confident. He looked like he knew he won. And I know that the photos told a different story for Ian Valliere, but I thought he looked noticeably off in the live stream.
Right.
Do you feel, people were commenting in the comment sections saying, like, posing doesn't matter when it comes to points, it's all about the mandatories. I'm like, sure, there's some validity to that, but there's got to be something about posing and presentation and confidence that matters. And then for you being someone who's going to the Olympia off of a win, or even points, it doesn't matter. How do you feel about someone what do you feel about people's presentation and posing? And like, do you think that it matters enough that it could earn points? Or do you think it's just something that the judges keep in the back of their mind when they're judging?
I definitely think your stage presence is huge when it comes to getting points.
Yeah.
How you're interacting with, the crowd, drawing the crowd to you, or even the judges to you as well. Like, I feel like it's huge. Because, I mean, if you go back to Indy Pro, I wasn't the most conditioned on stage. And I was actually worried about that because I noticed the conditioning from then to when I was doing USAs. And I was like, nowhere near as good as the conditioning. But you look at John Jewett, Nathan Epler, they're a few poses they outsized me. I was posing small while they're, posing great. But I feel like when it came to stage presence or even fullness, dense muscle maturity, all that plays a part. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it really, posing is huge because you have to be able to hide your flaws. You have to be able to show your strengths.
Yeah.
But I think come stage presence and how the muscle looks is more important than that. Because because I definitely, USA, my posing was terrible. Probably the worst on stage. Even Boston Lloyd pointed that out as well. This dude probably would have won the overall if his posing was good because his posing was trash.
Oh, okay.
His exact words. So, I mean, posing is big, but I mean, yeah, the way the muscle looks, the muscle maturity, dense muscle, all that, I think that plays the biggest part.
Okay. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. We will have to get you back on the show because I didn't get halfway through my question sheet. So maybe I know I really want to be at the Olympia this year. So hopefully I'm there. Hopefully we actually get to see each other. And then maybe we can just sit down for 10 minutes or so. I know you'll be busy.
I'm always open to talk. I'm never too busy for anybody.
All right. That's a good attitude. All right, man. Is there anything you wanted to plug at the end before we hop off?
Yeah, thank you again for putting me on your show. Greatly appreciate it. Been thinking about it all week, actually, getting ready to do it. And shout out to, my sponsors, Tight Nutrition, my coach, Michael Courtney. And can't wait for Olympia, give you guys a show. It'll be a good one.
Outstanding. Tonio, thank you so much for taking your time to hop on the show and share with your fans just a little bit more about you beyond the stage. It's something we really looked forward to, and I hope that that everyone got to learn just a little bit more about you. We look forward to seeing you at the Olympia. Best of luck. I expect that we'll have you back on the show before the Olympia, but if we don't, best of luck at the Olympia, and we will see you October 6th through 10th.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
Man, I'm good. I'm a professional. Words are hard. All right, man. Take care. Guys, the links are in the description for Tonio. I hope you guys enjoyed the laugh fest we had. But, yeah, I'll take care, man. I'll see you. We'll talk soon.
Got you. Have a good one.
All right, man. All right, take care.